It wasn't just another glamorous night in Hollywood, this was the kind of moment that made the entire internet pause. When Timothée Chalamet and Kylie Jenner stepped out together, wrapped in luxury and flashing lights, one question instantly took over: what's really happening behind those perfectly curated appearances? If you want to uncover the deeper story that most people are missing, stay with this until the end, and make sure you like, comment, and follow now, because this story goes further than anyone expected. The atmosphere was electric from the very first second. Cameras exploded in flashes, voices overlapped in excitement, and every eye in the room locked onto them. Timothee arrived with his signature understated elegance, wearing a look that balanced classic tailoring with bold modern flair. Beside him, Kylie Jenner delivered a fashion moment so powerful it instantly sparked global trends. Within minutes, social media platforms were flooded, hashtags climbed rapidly, and their names dominated trending charts worldwide. But this wasn't just about fashion or celebrity presence. There was something else, something subtle, almost hidden in plain sight. The way they looked at each other. The brief pauses between conversations. The quiet smiles that didn't seem rehearsed. Fans began dissecting every frame, asking the same question: is this a carefully crafted public image, or something much more real? Inside the venue, the energy shifted. The noise softened into a low hum of exclusive conversations. Industry elites, filmmakers, fashion icons, and influential insiders filled the space. Timothee was seen engaging with top directors, his focus sharp, his presence magnetic. Kylie moved effortlessly through the room, commanding attention from designers and business moguls alike. Yet despite their individual spotlights, they kept gravitating back toward each other, a pattern that didn't go unnoticed. And that's where the tension began to build. Sources close to the event hinted that this night carried more weight than anyone realized. It wasn't just another public appearance, it may have been a defining moment in their relationship. A turning point. Were they solidifying their status as Hollywood's next power couple, or quietly navigating pressures that come with that level of global attention? As the night deepened and cameras became less intrusive, the real story started to surface. A few attendees noticed something different, a shift in tone. The couple appeared to engage in a more serious conversation. Not an argument, but something meaningful. Focused. Intentional. As if they were discussing something that truly mattered beyond the glamour. Then came a moment so small, yet so powerful, it spoke louder than any headline. Timothee reached for Kylie's hand. It wasn't dramatic. It wasn't staged. Just a simple, quiet gesture, but in a world built on image and perception, moments like this often reveal the truth people try to hide. For a brief second, everything else faded: the noise, the cameras, the speculation, and what remained felt undeniably real. But here's where things take another turn. As the night continued, the atmosphere shifted once again. The tension eased. Music grew louder, laughter returned, and the couple seemed more relaxed, more connected. They were spotted sharing genuine smiles, even laughing together in a way that didn't feel forced. It was as if whatever weight they carried earlier had lifted, replaced by something lighter, something stronger. Still, the biggest question remained unanswered. Is this relationship evolving into something lasting and authentic, or are we witnessing a perfectly managed narrative designed for the spotlight? In the world of celebrity culture, perception is everything. Every movement is analyzed. Every interaction becomes a headline. And yet, sometimes, the most important truths are hidden in the smallest details, the gestures, the glances, the moments no one can script. And this is the real payoff. This night wasn't just about glamour, fashion, or influence. It was about two individuals from completely different worlds trying to navigate something real under the weight of global attention. Timothee, known for his artistic credibility and depth. Kylie, a powerhouse of branding and cultural influence. Together, They create a dynamic that is both fascinating and unpredictable. So what happens next? Will they continue to rise together, becoming one of the defining couples of this generation? Or will this glamorous night become just another chapter in a story filled with pressure, expectations, and constant scrutiny? One thing is certain, the world is watching. Every step they take will be followed, every moment will be discussed, and every decision will shape what comes next. If you're into stories that go beyond the surface and reveal what's really happening behind celebrity headlines, don't forget to like, share, and subscribe right now. Because behind every perfect moment, there's always a deeper story waiting to be uncovered. And just when it seemed like the night had revealed everything it could, a new layer of intrigue began to unfold, one that only a handful of insiders would dare to talk about. As the after-party atmosphere intensified, the exclusivity reached another level. The guest list became tighter, the lighting dimmer, and the conversations far more personal. It was in this setting that Timothée Chalamet and Kylie Jenner appeared to step away from the crowd, choosing privacy over performance, something that immediately raised eyebrows among those who noticed. Because here's the thing, when two of the most talked about figures in entertainment suddenly pull back from the spotlight during the most high-profile night, people start asking questions. And not just casual questions. Real questions. Witnesses described a shift in their energy. Earlier, their presence felt polished, almost cinematic. But now, it was quieter. More grounded. More real. Timothee reportedly leaned in during conversation, listening intently, while Kylie's usual confident composure softened into something more reflective. It wasn't the version of them the public is used to seeing, and that contrast only made the moment more compelling. Then came a detail that almost no one caught on camera. A pause. A long one. In the middle of a conversation, both of them went silent for a few seconds, no phones, no distractions, just eye contact. In a world addicted to constant motion and noise, that kind of stillness is rare. And according to one insider, it felt like they were making a decision without saying a word. Let that sink in. Because whatever that silent exchange meant, it seemed to shift everything that followed. Moments later, the two rejoined the crowd, but something had changed. Their movements were more in sync. Their interactions more natural. It was no longer about being seen, it was about being present. And oddly enough, that authenticity made them stand out even more. Now here's where things get even more interesting. As clips from the night continued circulating online, fans began to notice patterns, tiny details that pointed toward a deeper connection. The way Timothee subtly adjusted his pace to match Kylie's. The way Kylie mirrored his expressions during conversations. Behavioral experts even weighed in, suggesting that this kind of mirroring often indicates emotional alignment. But not everyone was convinced. Some critics argued that everything about that night, from their entrance to their interactions, could have been carefully orchestrated. After all, both are masters of navigating public perception. Kylie, with her empire built on influence and image. Timothee, with his carefully curated artistic persona. Could this entire narrative be part of a bigger strategy? Or are we overthinking something that's simply real? Because here's the twist no one expected. Later in the night, as the event began winding down, a moment occurred that completely shifted the tone of the conversation online. It wasn't loud. It wasn't dramatic. But it was powerful enough to spark thousands of reactions within minutes. As they made their way toward the exit, surrounded by security and flashing cameras, Kylie briefly turned back, just for a second. Not toward the crowd. Not toward the photographers. Toward Timothee. And in that split second, she smiled in a way that didn't look staged. It wasn't the polished smile seen on red carpets. It was softer. More personal. Almost like an inside moment shared between just the two of them. Timothee's response? Subtle, but unmistakable. A slight nod. A quiet acknowledgement. The kind that doesn't demand attention, but carries meaning. And just like that, the internet had a new mystery to obsess over. Clips of that exact moment began looping across social media. Fans slowed it down, zoomed in, analyzed every frame. Some called it proof of something genuine. Others labeled it as perfectly timed branding. But regardless of interpretation, one thing was undeniable: it captured attention in a way few moments ever do. This is what makes their dynamic so fascinating. It lives in the gray area between reality and perception, between authenticity and performance. And that's exactly why people can't look away. Because in a world where everything feels scripted, we're constantly searching for moments that feel real. And whether intentional or not, Timothee Chalamet and Kylie Jenner managed to deliver exactly that: just enough mystery to keep everyone guessing, and just enough emotion to keep everyone invested. But the story doesn't end there. In the hours following the event, subtle clues began to emerge. A delayed social media post. A missing tag. A caption that seemed intentionally vague. Fans quickly picked up on it, fueling even more speculation. Was it coincidence, or part of a larger narrative unfolding in real time? Some even suggested that this night could mark the beginning of a new phase, not just in their relationship, but in how they choose to present it to the world. Less obvious. Less performative. More controlled. If that's true, then what we witnessed wasn't just a glamorous night out. It was a transition. A shift. A moment where two global figures quietly redefined the way they exist under constant scrutiny. And if you think about it, that might be the most powerful move of all. Because in an industry built on visibility, choosing when not to reveal everything can be the ultimate form of control. So now the question isn't just what happened that night? The real question is, what happens next? Will they lean into this growing narrative and become even more public? Or will they pull back, creating an even deeper sense of mystery that keeps the world watching from a distance? Either way, one thing is clear. This story is far from over. And if you've made it this far, you already know, you're not just watching a celebrity moment. You're witnessing a story that's still being written in real time, one subtle gesture at a time. So stay tuned, stay curious, and most importantly, don't blink. Because the next moment everyone will be talking about might happen when you least expect it. And just when the narrative seemed to settle, another unexpected layer began to surface, one that shifted the entire conversation from speculation to something far more intense. Because behind the elegance, behind the controlled appearances, there was growing pressure. Not just from the media, but from the massive audiences that follow every move of Timothee Chalamet and Kylie Jenner. Millions of eyes. Millions of expectations. And in a world like that, even the smallest gesture can carry enormous weight. As the night transitioned into early morning hours, insiders revealed that the energy around them didn't fade, it intensified. Conversations became more private, circles became tighter, and access became more restricted. Only a select few were close enough to witness what was really happening behind that final layer of exclusivity. And this is where things take a turn that no one saw coming. According to multiple whispers from within the inner circle, there was a moment, brief, almost invisible, where both of them stepped completely away from everyone else. No cameras. No phones. No audience. Just the two of them in a space where, for once, they didn't have to perform. Now imagine that. Two of the most recognizable figures in the world, finally alone. What do they talk about when no one is watching? What do they say when there's nothing to prove? That moment, though hidden, may have been the most important part of the entire night. Because when they returned, something had undeniably shifted again. Their body language was calmer. More certain. Less reactive to the environment around them. It was as if a decision had been made, quietly, privately, but with real impact. Observers noted that they no longer scanned the room for attention. They no longer adjusted themselves for cameras. Instead, they moved with a kind of quiet confidence that only comes when something internal has been resolved. And that's where the story deepens. Because while the public continued to focus on outfits, photos, and viral clips, the real narrative may have been unfolding in those unseen moments. The kind of moments that never trend, never get posted, but define everything that comes after. Then came another subtle but powerful signal. As the final guests began leaving and the night approached its end, Timothee and Kylie didn't rush out like many others. They lingered. Not in a way that demanded attention, but in a way that suggested they weren't quite ready for the night to be over. That hesitation alone sparked a new wave of curiosity online. Why stay longer? Why delay the exit when everything else had already been captured? Some believe it was intentional, to avoid the chaos of the crowd. Others think it points to something more personal. A desire to hold on to a moment that meant more than just another appearance. And then, the exit finally happened. But it wasn't what people expected. No grand display. No dramatic final pose. Instead, it was controlled, almost understated. Yet somehow, that made it even more powerful. Because in a world that thrives on spectacle, choosing subtlety can be the boldest move of all. Fans quickly picked up on this shift. The comments started changing. Instead of focusing purely on aesthetics, people began talking about energy. About connection. About authenticity. Words like real, different, and unexpected started appearing more frequently. And once that shift happens in public perception, it's very hard to reverse. But here's where things get even more complex. Not everyone is reading this the same way. Some industry analysts suggest that this entire progression, from high glam entrance to quiet, meaningful exit, could represent a calculated evolution in how both figures manage their public image. A more mature narrative. A deeper layer of storytelling designed to resonate beyond surface-level attention. And honestly, it wouldn't be surprising. Because both Timothée Chalamet and Kylie Jenner understand something most people don't. Attention is currency. But mystery? That's power. And what they created that night wasn't just attention, it was controlled curiosity. The kind that keeps people watching, analyzing, and coming back for more without ever feeling fully satisfied. That's not accidental. That's strategy. Or maybe it isn't. Because here's the part no one can confirm. What if, in the middle of all this speculation, something genuinely real slipped through? What if that pause, that glance, that quiet moment away from everyone else, wasn't planned at all? What if we're witnessing something that even they didn't expect? That possibility is what keeps this story alive. Because if everything were perfectly scripted, it would feel complete. But this feels unfinished. Open-ended. Still evolving. And that uncertainty is exactly what pulls people deeper into the narrative. Hours after the night ended, the ripple effects were still spreading. New angles of footage surfaced. Unseen clips began circulating. Micro-expressions, subtle gestures, background interactions, everything was suddenly under a microscope. And yet, despite all that content, no one could fully explain what actually happened between them. Not completely. Not definitively. And maybe that's the point. Because in an era where everything is documented, explained, and consumed within seconds, a story that resists clear answers becomes infinitely more valuable. It lingers. It grows. It transforms into something bigger than the moment itself. So now, we're left with more than just a glamorous night. We're left with a question mark. A turning point that could lead anywhere. And if history has shown us anything, it's that moments like this, quiet, ambiguous, filled with subtle signals, are often the ones that matter most in the long run. so keep watching closely. Because the next move they make won't just add to the story. It might finally reveal what this night was really about. And just when it felt like every possible angle had been analyzed, replayed, and dissected, something even more unexpected began to emerge, something that didn't come from cameras, insiders, or even the event itself, but from the reaction of the world watching it unfold. Because within hours, the narrative surrounding Timothée Chalamet and Kylie Jenner started to evolve in a way no one could have predicted. It wasn't just about what they did anymore. It was about what people felt. Across social media platforms, a new kind of discussion took over, less focused on surface-level glamour, and more centered on interpretation. Fans weren't just reacting, they were connecting dots, building theories, and, in some cases, projecting their own emotions onto what they saw. Some viewers described the night as intimate despite the chaos, pointing out how the smallest gesture seemed to carry the most weight. Others argued that the entire sequence of events, from arrival to exit, felt like a carefully constructed narrative arc, almost cinematic in execution. Beginning. Tension. Shift. Resolution. But was that structure intentional, or something we imposed afterward? That question alone kept the conversation alive. Because when a moment feels like a story, people instinctively try to find meaning in it. And meaning creates obsession. Soon, slowed-down clips began circulating even more widely. Frame-by-frame breakdowns highlighted micro-expressions that most people would never notice in real time. A slight hesitation before a smile. A blink that lasted just a fraction longer than expected. A shift in posture that suggested either comfort or uncertainty. Every detail mattered. Every second became evidence. And yet, for all the analysis, there was still no clear conclusion. Which only made things more intense. Then came another twist, one that pushed the narrative even further. A well-known body language expert, after reviewing multiple clips, suggested that what people were witnessing might not fit into a single category. According to the analysis, their interactions showed signs of both familiarity and caution. Comfort, mixed with awareness. Connection, balanced by restraint. In other words, something real, but not simple. That interpretation immediately sparked debate. Because it challenged both extremes. It wasn't fully staged. But it wasn't entirely unguarded either. It existed somewhere in between. And that in-between space is where things get complicated. Because that's where authenticity and image collide. As the discussion intensified, more subtle details began to resurface. Moments that had initially gone unnoticed suddenly became central to the narrative. A brief moment where Kylie seemed to step slightly closer during a crowded interaction. A quiet adjustment Timothee made to ensure she moved comfortably through the space. None of these moments were dramatic. But together, they painted a picture. Not a definitive one. But a compelling one. And here's where the tension rises again. Because just as the public began leaning toward the idea that something genuine might be unfolding, a new wave of skepticism entered the conversation. Some critics pointed out the timing. The visibility. The context of the event. They questioned whether such perfectly captured moments could truly be accidental. Whether the subtlety itself was part of a more sophisticated form of public storytelling, one designed to feel real precisely because it avoids obvious performance. And honestly, that perspective isn't easy to dismiss. Because in today's media landscape, authenticity itself can be curated. Carefully. Intentionally. Almost invisibly. So now the narrative splits into two equally powerful possibilities. Either we witnessed a rare glimpse of something real breaking through the noise. Or we experienced a masterclass in modern celebrity storytelling. And here's the part that keeps everyone hooked. There's no way to fully prove either one. Not yet. And maybe, not ever. Because the truth doesn't always reveal itself immediately. Sometimes it unfolds slowly. Through patterns. Through consistency. Through what happens next. And that brings us to the moment after the moment. Because what happens after a night like that can be just as telling as the night itself. In the days that followed, both Timothee and Kylie maintained a noticeable level of restraint. No immediate overexposure. No excessive posting. No attempt to control the narrative in an obvious way. Which, in itself, became part of the narrative. Because silence, especially in an era of constant content, speaks volumes. Fans noticed the absence. The lack of clarification. The decision not to confirm or deny anything. And instead of fading interest, it did the opposite. It amplified it. Because when people don't get answers, they start looking harder. They rewatch. They reanalyze. They revisit moments with new perspectives. And each time they do, the story grows. Expands. Evolves. Now here's where everything starts to converge. Because whether intentional or not, what Timothée Chalamet and Kylie Jenner created wasn't just a viral moment. It was a living narrative. One that doesn't rely on a single event, but continues through interpretation, speculation, and anticipation. A narrative that invites the audience to participate, to question, to imagine. And that kind of engagement? It's incredibly rare. Because most stories end. This one doesn't. At least not yet. So now, as the spotlight slowly shifts to whatever comes next, one thing becomes increasingly clear. That night wasn't just about what happened. It was about what it started. A conversation. A curiosity. A sense that something bigger might be unfolding just beneath the surface. And if you followed this story all the way here, then you already understand. You're not just watching events play out. You're watching meaning being created in real time. So the next time you see a headline, a clip, or a fleeting moment involving them, pay attention. Not just to what's shown, but to what's not. Because sometimes, the most important part of the story is the part that never gets fully revealed. And just when it seemed like the story had reached its peak, something even more subtle, but far more powerful, began to take shape in the background. Because what most people didn't realize is that moments like these don't end when the night is over, they evolve. In the days that followed, the presence of Timothée Chalamet and Kylie Jenner didn't disappear from the spotlight, it transformed. The energy shifted from immediate reaction to long-term curiosity. And that shift? It's where things get really interesting. Clips from that night continued resurfacing, but now with a different lens. People weren't just watching, they were studying. Observing patterns. Looking for continuity. Trying to understand whether what they saw was a one-time moment, or part of something bigger unfolding over time. And then came a detail that quietly reignited everything. A newly surfaced angle, one that hadn't gone viral before, showed a brief interaction that lasted no more than a few seconds. But in those seconds, something felt different. Less guarded. Less aware of being watched. It was the kind of moment that didn't seem designed for the public at all. And yet, there it was. Out in the open. Being analyzed by millions. That clip alone triggered a fresh wave of speculation. Because it didn't match the earlier narrative perfectly. It added complexity. And complexity creates momentum. Some fans argued that this was the clearest sign yet that something genuine existed beneath the surface. Others insisted it only proved how layered and controlled modern celebrity interactions have become. But here's where the tension builds again. Because both sides are convincing. And when both sides feel right, the mystery deepens. Meanwhile, industry insiders began to shift their tone as well. Early reactions focused heavily on appearance and influence. But now, the conversation started leaning toward longevity, sustainability, The possibility that this connection, whatever it truly is, might have more depth than originally assumed. That's a big shift. Because in Hollywood, perception moves fast, but it rarely moves deeper unless something forces it to. And something about this moment did. But just as the narrative began stabilizing, another unexpected twist entered the scene. Silence. Not complete silence, but intentional quiet. No dramatic follow-ups. No overly revealing interviews. No direct acknowledgement of the speculation that had taken over the internet. And in today's world, that kind of restraint is louder than any statement. Because it creates space. Space for interpretation. Space for imagination. Space for the audience to fill in the gaps. And when that happens, the story becomes bigger than the people at the center of it. It becomes collective. Shared. Almost personal. That's when you know something has truly captured attention. Because it's no longer just about them. It's about how everyone else experiences it. Now here's where everything begins to converge again. Because while the public continues searching for clarity, the real narrative may be unfolding in ways we can't immediately see. Through decisions made off camera. Through conversations that never get recorded. Through choices that only become visible much later. And that delay? It's what keeps the tension alive. Because we're always one step behind the full story. Always reacting. Always interpreting. Never fully certain. And that uncertainty is what makes this so compelling. Because if everything were clear, the interest would fade. But this lingers. And just when people think they've figured it out, something small shifts, and suddenly, everything feels open again. A new appearance. A subtle interaction. A timing choice that raises fresh questions. And the cycle continues. But here's the part that truly defines this moment. It's not just about whether their connection is real or constructed. It's about how seamlessly it moves between those two possibilities. That's the balance that very few public figures can maintain. And whether intentional or not, Timothee Chalamet and Kylie Jenner are operating right in that space. Where nothing is fully confirmed. But nothing feels entirely false either. That's rare. And rarity drives attention.